What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with the RK Outpost, and the Scarlett Johansson vs. Disney lawsuit continues to evolve, and it continues to go poorly for Disney. Whether we're talking about public perception or whether we're talking about different Disney actresses coming out and supporting Scarlett Johansson, MCU co-stars coming out and supporting her. None of the men, by the way. Just want to make that very clear, that even though people like Robert Downey Jr., all these different people came out to support other MCU co-stars when they've had a time of crisis, per se, like Chris Pratt, they haven't said much about Scarlett Johansson's lawsuit. Isn't that interesting? But this entire thing was meant to play out in public. It was meant to play out and have the public perception be that Disney is robbing a woman of the money that she earned. How dare they do this? And now you have someone like Elizabeth Olsen coming out and supporting her friend, because girls get it done. Girls got to stick together. Elizabeth Olsen praising Scarlett Johansson through this entire thing. But I want to go over the latest salvo, I guess you can say, from Scarlett Johansson's camp against Disney. You got this headline: Scarlett Johansson slams Disney's misogynistic attack over Black Widow suit. Studio trying to hide its misconduct. And that's kind of the more recent thing that her team came out and said. Again, the fucking woke SJW garbage that is coming out of this is exactly what they wanted with a public lawsuit. The Time's Up, Me Too movements, all these women's groups saying that Disney clearly showed how misogynistic they're being. It's like, what in their response? In Disney's response, Disney's garbage. I hate Disney. But in their response, what about that had anything to do with the fact that she was female? The answer is nothing. But these lunatics, when you hire people like this, when you associate with people like this, when you pander to people like this is what will happen. Like, they will come after you like they are. Like her MCU character, Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson apparently does not hold back in a fight. She's hit back pretty hard in her response against Disney, the parent company of Marvel. The actor and the studio are currently engaged in a fierce legal battle over the hybrid release, both theatrical and streaming. And we talked about this multiple times. Scarlett Johansson is claiming that she lost $50 million from this. That would be assuming that because Disney put it on Disney Plus, she lost $50 million in bonuses. The problem is, when you look at the lawsuit, none of this fucking is going to hold any water, really, because in it, they don't say exclusive theatrical release. In her contract that she provides, it says a widespread theatrical release, and they define it as at least 1,500 theaters. That happened. Definitively, that happened. We've recently learned that Disney kind of opened their books up and, in this thing, and it got out that $120 million were made on Disney Plus through that premiere access with Black Widow. That's not necessarily, that money would just be straight from the box office, because you got to factor in that this is almost like a Blu-ray, like a post-release way to buy it, because now if you bought it there for $30, you own that movie. You own Black Widow now. So it's not as simple as, you put this pot in, that's what would have gone to the box office. No, it doesn't work that way. But regardless, Scarlett Johansson is assuming that she would have made $1 billion. This movie would have made over $1 billion. That's just not the fucking case. We all know that. You got all the COVID shit. You got the fact that people just simply didn't care very much about this movie. A lot of factors played into it. It's not just that they put it on Disney Plus, but that's what she's trying to say, that she was robbed of $50 million. That is absolute horseshit. We all know that's horseshit. But the point of this lawsuit was to put it in the public eye, always, and to get the public on her side. And that's happening because a lot of people just say, well, I don't like Disney, so this good, Scarlett Johansson good. No, it's not necessarily the case. Both parties can be fucking garbage, and one party can be more in the wrong than the other. Do I think that it cost her a little bit of money in the box office? Of course I do. It didn't cost her what she's saying it did, and it was in the fucking contract that all it had to be was widespread theatrical. And by the own definition, it did that. There was nothing in there about it exclusively being in the box office. Sorry to say, that's just the case. Johansson's lawyer said, as per Deadline, After initially responding to this litigation with a misogynistic attack against Scarlett Johansson, Disney's now predictably trying to hide its misconduct in a confidential arbitration. He claimed Marvel's promise to give Black Widow a typical theatrical release like its other films had everything to do with guaranteeing that Disney wouldn't put it on Disney Plus. Again, nothing in the language that actually says that. But what he's talking about the confidential arbitration, yeah, of course Disney wants to keep this confidential. They don't want to open up their books. They don't want to open up all their Disney Plus numbers because that will very much affect the investors. Disney has been playing this shell game, this ridiculous game of telling everybody, look at what we're going to do on Disney Plus. We're growing everything. All the while, they've been losing money. Yet their stock prices continue to creep up over this entire pandemic, even with them losing billions and billions of dollars. It's all about that perception, and they don't show people the exact numbers so they can keep that perception. So that is why Disney wants to keep it confidential, because they're playing this shady-ass shell game with these Disney Plus numbers. They only tell you what they are when they want you to know. When they don't want you to know, they're never going to put that stuff out there. But of course, who is coming? Who is coming to the defense of Black Widow? Who's coming to the defense of Scarlett Johansson? Her Avengers co-star, Elizabeth Olsen. WandaVision's Elizabeth Olsen sides with Scarlett Johansson in lawsuit against Disney. WandaVision star voiced her support for Scarlett Johansson and her lawsuit against Disney surrounding the release. I think she's so tough. And literally, when I read that, I was like, good for you, Scarlett. The actress said during a conversation with Ted Lasso's Jason Sudeikis for Vanity Fair, published on August 20th. Sudeikis, for his part, said that Johansson's decision to bring a suit against the studio was appropriately badass and on brand. Oh my God, so fucking cringe. And that's what it is. It's all these people feeling like they need to take a side and take the side of the woke SJW warriors, the Time's Up Me Too movement, and Scarlett Johansson. And now you have another Avengers co-star in Elizabeth Olsen coming out effectively saying, you go girl, you're awesome. How is that going to affect her going forward? I don't know. She's the only person that I've really seen come out and do this. I do think it's because she's a woman. I do think it's because she's trying to hop onto that narrative, that victimhood mentality that they're talking about in Hollywood, despite the fact that Scarlett Johansson already got paid $20 million for this movie that lost money, and despite the fact that she's lying about how much money she should be getting and trying to completely play this virtue signaling, pandering, identity politics garbage. This is who you decided to bring in, at Disney, at Marvel, the MCU, Kevin Feige. This is the kind of people you decided to pander to bring in, and you're getting what you fucking deserve. This mess, I just want every side to lose. If that's possible, I hope that continues on. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.